Cheyenne River, Valley City, North. And there is the city park. This is the second time this is flooded this summer. First time this river has ever flooded during the summer. It's always been in the spring quarter. Snow melting at a fast pace. This is all from rain. Had rain all summer long here. Pretty much the same water level that this river reached the first time that it rained. Ellsworth Valley City had 7.5 inches of rain in one day. This here is looking at the back of the houses on 2nd Avenue Southwest. During the first flood after the rain, all these houses had water up to the bottom of the foundation. The dike had busted, or had a leak in it, and there wasn't much that they could do. The rain had come down, the hardest part of the rain had come down on Thursday night of the 15th. The tape says the 17th, but that is not correct. It is the 28th today of July. There's a gentleman checking out the pump that they've got running across there. Trying very hard to keep the water out of their basements. A lot of the flooding that happened in town here was from sewer backing up. The water level in the ground is so high that nearly 95% of the town here had some sort of water in their basement, either from water running in through their windows, through their foundation, or just backing up from the sewer. All this water here is contaminated with raw sewage from all the backing up from such a high water level in the ground. There was no runoff, there was no drainage of the sewer. It's all staying right there. Right now the town is trying to use as little water as possible, or as little of their sewers, to try to keep these people here along the river in the low areas from getting any more water in their basements. Here you can see the children playing in the water. Actually, these aren't children, they're 15, 16-year-old boys. And that is one of the stupidest things anybody can do. This water is all contaminated. The radio has been trying to get it into the heads of the parents in this town to wash their kids. You'd think these guys would be old enough to realize that this is dangerous, unhealthy actually, but they are bound and determined to play in the water. City Park here. Usually on a nice day like today, this place would be full of children playing on the gymnasium, the slides, swings, you name it. I don't think anybody's going to be playing here for quite some time. Here with this view you can get an idea of the flow of the current going along the river here. In actuality, it's only running about 3 miles an hour. But for the Valley City Cheyenne, that's about 3 times faster than its normal speed if anybody's seen this river before, you actually realize how full of water this actually is. Right now, I believe that the water level is about 17.5 feet. During the first flood, it got up to 18.1 feet. And at that time, nobody was really as prepared as we are now. Most of the sandbagging and diking and everything was done after the initial flood, in fear that we were going to have more rain, in actuality have much higher water level. I hear him say on the radio that if this river ever reached 23 feet, they'd have to surrender the town to the Cheyenne River. And I do believe that. Instead of 18.5, it's nearly over the banks right here. In the downtown area, it's pretty low. There's not much up except for once you get up Central Avenue and whatnot. At 23 feet, it'd probably be up to the school, higher than that, most likely. This here is looking at the river from the east side of the city park. I'm standing on top of a dike that they just built here 2 days ago and completed last night. They've been working on it for quite a while. Originally it just started from this point and worked up to right about there, trying to stop the water from coming in on an old wooden dike that they built during the flood of '79. It wasn't a very good constructed dike. With a sudden flow of water, there wasn't much they could do to keep it from leaking. Now this dike all along here down the street is newly constructed. During the first flood, the water was up to about the point where you can see it right now. That parking lot was flooded up to about where that fence is, straight south. Lots of cars in the water. As you can see here, the dike runs all the way around the block there. There isn't much they can do. They can't get behind the houses to build it up, and so they had to build it right here. And those people that you see right there, those are the people I talked about before that had water to the bottom of the foundations. They probably have full basements at this point. It's kind of sickening to realize that if it ever did flood here, all these people have absolutely nothing but water. And right here, one of the main reasons why it flooded so bad right here was because somebody didn't like the dike that they had built in '79. They wanted to put down a dock, so they ripped out their dike. And when it started raining, the water level got up. And when it started raining, it was coming down fast. The streets had about 2 feet of water in it. It couldn't drain as fast as it was coming down. And plus, the ground was already saturated to begin with, so nothing was soaking in. Right here you can see, this is a resident supply van trying. He's a co-worker of mine down the John Deere. Now, he kind of got lucky. The water is right up to the boulevard there. Just pulled all their stuff out of the basements. They didn't get much water in the basement, but it was bagged around the house. Just for security reasons, just in case something would happen, just in case it rained. Friday night, the day after the initial flooding, they're forecasting 5 more inches of rain. Possible 5 more inches of rain. Now if that would have happened, they would have had to have surrounded the town, because that would have given them that extra 5 feet of water, because all this water comes from all the way up by Cooperstown. It goes into the Ashtabula Lake, which is dammed up. And right now, at this time, it's coming over the top of the dam. They got the floodgates open. There isn't anything they can do. They can only hold back so much water. The fact that they have those gates closed during the first flood really helped this town out. They held it as long as they could until everybody was all prepared, and they opened them up. And they tried to keep them closed as long as they could this time so the town could prepare. And they did a pretty good job. Got most of it done. Most of the trouble spots, at least. And now they're letting it out. It's coming over the top right now, actually. There isn't much they can do. If you get another rain, another heavy rain, they're going to be flooded bad, because they're holding as much as they can from the rains they've had from the north. These houses are on 2nd Avenue. As you can see, that rain ever came, and if it ever flooded like it may, the water would be up to the bottoms of the windows. They would be SOL. It's the sad part of this. There's nothing that you can do. They built this dike to save the rest of the town. I guess there's got to be a few sacrifices. Over there you can see the old armory. I'm not sure if that had any water in it or not, but I know that it was up there. I'm pretty sure that it probably did have water in the basement. Mill Dam on the southeastern side of town. Right now, coming over the top, we got the gate wide open, normally closed. You can see how the water is coming down. Probably about a foot over the top of the dam. If you've ever seen Mill Dam before, there's usually about a 4 to 5 foot drop from the top of the dam to the river. And as you can see now, it's out right level with the river. Get over here, you see that the water is going around the dam. Look down at the rapids down there. I want to call them rapids. It turned up so much. Now this is going straight over to the college. Street that goes to the college, the bridge is right down that way. Block bridge is after that. People checking out the river. Coming at a pretty good clip, and it's going over at an even better clip. Well, the fun right now is that we got good old raft. But I know somebody who wouldn't let me do that. There you can see that's the original place where they did all the sandbagging. Sandbag up most of the areas that were flooded or near flooding, shorelines of the river, streets around the open areas of the dikes where it was coming in, trying to keep it from coming any more and trying to prevent it from getting any worse if we had more rain. It got kind of muddy down there and slick, and it was hard to drive around in for most vehicles that were hauling. They had, I'd say, pretty close to 150 people there bagging at one time, and probably about the same amount out running around hauling them. They had a flatbed truck that was donated, and all the city was bringing in sand, baggers, fire department and the city and Barnes County guys were up all night long Thursday night until about Friday night working on this. And a lot of them were working even later than that with absolutely no sleep. And a lot of the pedestrians are citizens of the town here, even people from out of town, ranging in age from about 10 years old up to the retired. They do as much as they can, they take a break, and they go back and do it again. Myself, I started bagging, and later on in the morning there, I went down to John Deere and I asked my boss, Rich Raymond, if I could borrow one of his pickups so I could help. He said, sure, go ahead. And then I hauled the rest of the day until about 5:30, and they wouldn't let me have any more bags because they're in the stockpile. And what they do is they stockpile bags in case of more rain, and then they'd use it where it was needed. A lot of the people from out of town along the river, they needed them. Couldn't get them after 5:30 unless they called up the fire chief and told them that they're really getting bad flooding. Catherine, Fingal, well, Catherine's along the river. All the way along that river, anybody next to it was getting water up there. And I'm not really sure how bad the flooding was, but you hear people talking, it was pretty bad. Fingal, their flooding was mainly from runoff, and there's a road that goes east and west along the town there, and it was holding all the water in. It was up in the streets, in the bar there. And what they ended up doing is they took a backhoe and they ripped out that road going east and west. It's actually a highway. It goes over to Alice. They ripped that out, up the water through. I don't know if they've repaired it yet. I'm sure if they haven't. That wouldn't be a very smart idea. At least not yet. So everybody was pretty much flooded. It was just such a heavy rain. Depending on the dike that was built on the east side of the Rainbow Bridge over here. It's built for precautionary measures during the first flood, Thursday and Friday. They'd built the dike before out of dirt. This is made out of sand. A little bit better construction. They started it on Thursday afternoon or so, and they finished, or Friday afternoon. They finished it that night. They had two loaders going, and they met in the middle. All this area here, all along there, and over in there was all flooded terribly. Right here, over across there, they've got the sand and everything to finish her off, just in case it got bad. Block off the town, keep it out of this end of town here. I'm on the east end of town, almost out of town actually, pretty much out of the way. There are some houses down here and stuff that we have to worry about. I am on the southern end of this dike that I've shown you previously. Just over there is the trailer house that another co-worker of mine lived in, Mike Hass. Right now, well, it's almost ready to float away. It's right next to the river. If you look over there, see that sun glistening off the river over there. Goes underneath the Rainbow Bridge, over to the mill dam and on. It's all water here. Where dike ends right there. Back over in there's a creek that runs. It's all runoff from the hill, and it goes all the way up to the road going out to 94. It comes all the way down that hill out there, and it all runs into that creek and back there. And that came up and it was running so fast and so hard that there's a bridge. Actually, there's a couple of bridges that go across it that were almost utterly destroyed from the rain, or the little creek that it just boomed into, more or less almost a little river. Usually it's only about 10 inches deep in the spring, sometimes deeper, and that just completely destroyed those bridges. And it all ran into the Cheyenne, contributing to the flooding in town here. There's people that live along here in their trailer houses. Or on the other side of this tree here, there's another trailer house. Somebody's in there right now. Saw a light on in there. It's funny that they still have power. Most of the power is shut off in the areas that's flooded like this, just in case something should happen. You wouldn't want a couple thousand, 100,000 volts running to you, I'm sure, so you'd live with no power. Candle can always do it, and you can go out to Subway or Hardee's and eat. There's the famous Highline Bridge of Valley City, North Dakota. A train passing overhead right now. And this is Chautauqua Park. Open until dark, or until flood season. All pretty much underwater right now. "5 miles an hour speed limit. With all boaters passing through. There's the volleyball net on the north side of the park here. Usually on a normal day, on the weekends or nice days in the summertime, this park's usually got like a family picnic or some get-together going on. They got a softball diamond right over there. Everybody goes out and plays softball on. They got the volleyball nets, lots of picnic tables, you name it. Kids all over the place playing. And just like the city park, nobody's going to be playing in here for quite a while unless they're fishing or boating or whatever. It's got to be at least 3-4 feet deep in there right now. Over there is the Swanky Edition, famous Swanky Edition. They had to evacuate that end of town during the first flooding. They had people that had holes in their dikes and whatnot, and kind of didn't really hold out too much water. It was all flooded out up to the bridge going by the hospital there. They were requesting boats and canoes and stuff to help get the people out, get their personal belongings. They pretty much had to give up on this end of town here. Right over here, a couple houses here. I believe this is all flooded out right here. That house that you see right there with the Ranchero or El Camino, whatever, in front of it, they had water right up to the driveway there. They're sitting out on their lawn chairs, watching the water, sandbags. So that's pretty much how far the water had made it up here. This dike that they built here must have been built yesterday or day before. They've been working the city had contracted out Bloomer Construction, and they'd subcontracted many more people out, loaders, whatnot. They worked for about 3 days straight, non-stop, building up dikes for the second flood here. This dike wasn't here during the first flood. That's why it was all flooded out over here, and now since they held the dam shut for the second one, had all that rain, they had a little more time to get these dikes built that were so needed here. Right here we have what was called at one time the small dam, little dam, probably all kinds of different names for it. Right behind that tree there is where it would be. Now that's another spot similar to the mill dam where there's about a 4 to 5 foot drop of the water from the top of the dam to where the river continued. As you can see, there's nothing left there to actually show you that there was the dam. We have some benches and stuff right along the shore where there's a pretty good drop off down to the river at that point. There's the bridge. That's the road that goes next to the bubble there. Goes up to the Hilltop Cafe out of town. Here's a dike that they just built. If this dike wasn't here right now, the college, right over there is the student housing behind that pickup over there. There's a Valley City lift station. This dike wasn't here right now. This whole house here, and pretty much the rest of the college would be flooded out. This was a really bad place during the original flood for letting the water over and flooding out a lot of the town, or a lot of the college area at least. Over behind those trees over there we have some of the officials checking the depth of the water and whatnot. They're pretty much checking it every hour in different spots. Right now the river's pretty much staying at one spot. It isn't going up or it isn't going down. If you have any more rain though, we're supposed to have rain tomorrow on Friday. Actually we were supposed to have rain today, but it doesn't look like it's coming. But with this warm weather that we're having today, thunderstorms are most likely going to occur. Either north of us or in Valley City itself, it's going to affect us in one way or the other. There you see the nunnery, or whatever you would want to call it. I bet you they've really worn out a lot of sets of rosary beads about right now. There's the bridge that takes you to the nunnery. As you can see, the water's coming over the top. It's all closed off. There's no way of getting over there right now. This is out by the fish hatchery, where I'm at this point. Cheyenne River. It's pretty big right here too. It's pretty much big everywhere. During the initial flooding and during this flooding and everything, right here what you see is all the trees from up along the river that got washed down, and they stopped right at this bridge. And just pulled them out. When I originally came out here and checked it all out, well, here we come. There they are. When I originally came out here, all these trees were in the water and whatnot, and it kind of reminds you of those old sawmills. They're just backed up pretty far, and you still see there's quite a few left in there that they haven't pulled out yet. I guess they get them out when they can. Right now, I suppose they're busy doing other things, or it isn't too much of a problem at this point. Picnic table. Right here is All Hills Dam. water in Valley City is coming from. All the rains up north, coming into Lake Ashtabula, coming up to the dam, flowing down to Valley City. About as fast as you'll ever see the dam flow. Coming over the top of the gas Jordan. We're almost about 2 feet or so. Really coming out. Originally, they had reports of 5,000 cubic feet of water coming to this dam from the lake a second. And they were only letting out about 3,600 gallons per second. Don't start coming over the top, they open it up over the course. There's only getting around open up the dam like the water too, because it's going to the top, over the rest. That dam never went right there. Valley City would be wiped out. Anything along the river between the Grand Valley and Mount South. What you've been looking at is a view from the top of the dam. Here's from behind the gate. There's Lake Ashtabula. Hasn't affected the lake all that much. A few people got docks underwater and whatnot. There's the Bald Hill Dam recreational area. Got some sunbathers out and whatnot, boaters. Hasn't affected this side of the river, or this side of the dam, as much as it has on the other side of the dam, down to Valley City, down by Catherine, and along that stretch.